Good morning and welcome. The census counts every person living in the United States. It tells people in charge how much money to give us for important things like schools, hospitals, and the roads we drive on. The Glen Ellen Public Library is trying to help everyone count themselves, their family members, friends, and neighbors, so government leaders can make our communities better over the next 10 years. Ask your grown-up to visit my2020census.gov and respond today. Elsa wants everyone to be counted in her queendom, and she needs your help. Speaking of which, let's welcome our special guests now. Elsa?
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Queen Elsa. I am here in Arendelle today. We are doing a census as well. Censuses are very important. It is how we know who is in the kingdom. We know everybody's names in the kingdom. So if you have not done your census, it's very important that you just take that 5 minutes to fill it out. That way we know where you live, we know your names, and if we ever wanted to pay you a royal visit, we definitely could. But this morning, we are going to read a book together. I know Frozen 2 is out, but Frozen 1 is still one of my favorite stories because it's how we got started. It's how Anna and I really got into the North Aldrin. We didn't know what was in store quite yet. So we're going to do a sing-along because that has been requested. But are you all ready to get started? I'm ready to get started. So maybe this is the time. Cozy up with a blanket or cozy up with a friend, and here we go. All right, you see, not long ago in the kingdom of Arendelle, summer had arrived, and I am so excited. Summer is right around the corner. But it was winter inside of my castle where I was playing with my sister Anna. You see, I have magical ice powers. I can create things out of snow and ice. So I built my sister a snowman. I bet you know his name, Olaf. Oh, and Anna was so delighted. That's her favorite activity, to build snowmen. But you see, we were playing a little too hard. Maybe you've played a little bit too hard, and I accidentally hurt Anna. So my mother and father, the king and queen, rushed us to the mystical trolls in the mountains. Now, I hope you've seen the movie Trolls, because these are the exact same trolls. And you see, they cured Anna by changing her memory. So she had no recollection of my magic whatsoever. And they cautioned her that others would fear my powers. So to help me control my powers, my parents gave me a pair of white gloves. And you see, with the castle gate closed, I stayed away from Anna because I never wanted to hurt my sister again. Oh, but I missed her terribly. And Anna missed me as well. She was always knocking on my door going, "Elsa, do you want to build a snowman?" But I was too afraid to come out. Well, you see, years later, it was time for me to become queen. And without my parents, we were very lonely and very scared. But it was time for me to take over Arendelle. So I gathered all of my courage and I prayed that I would not lose control of my powers in front of the whole kingdom. You see, Anna, on the other hand, she is so excited. Anna gets excited about almost anything, but she was especially excited that night because we were going to have a ball. So we had to have a coronation, and then we did a census so we could invite everybody in the kingdom. So that's another reason why it's important. But Anna met a prince named Hans. Now, how do we feel about Prince Hans? Is it a yay or is it a Well, let me tell you, I did not like Prince Hans from the moment I met him, but Anna thought she had fallen in love. So while Anna was flirting, I was gathering up all of my courage to take off my gloves. And I did it, my friends. I was successfully crowned the Queen of Arendelle. So I quickly put my gloves right back on after that ceremony, and I proudly stood in front of my people. But Anna, you know, she had been flirting with Prince Hans all evening and she wanted me to know. So she ran right up to me and she said, "Oh, Elsa, I just met this Prince Hans. We're in love. Can we get married? Please, can we have your blessing?" And I had kind of a rough day. And you know, Anna, I said, Anna, how can you be in love with somebody you just met? No, I'm sorry. I can't give my blessing. And I turned away. And right as I turned away, she reached for my hand to stop me and pulled off one of my white gloves. Well, without my gloves on, and I was very upset, I accidentally exposed my powers. I kind of sent an icy blast from my hands and it covered the whole kingdom. Maybe you remember this part of the movie. I was so scared, probably the most scared I've ever been in my entire life. Arendelle was in deep snow, and it was my fault, and I was the queen. So I did what my gut was telling me, which was to run away, which is not a great thing to do, but at the time it felt right. So I ran and ran and ran all the way to the mountains, but Anna thought it was her fault. And being a good sister, she wanted to make sure I was okay. So she ran right after me, and you see, she hired a mountain man. Do you know his name? Well, his name is Kristoff, and he has a furry friend whose name is Sven. Sven's a reindeer. And you see, in time, Anna and Kristoff found a little snowman named Olaf. And guess what, friends? He was alive, and Anna actually remembered him. She remembered all of the good times that we had had together as kids. So Olaf led the way. Oh, and here is my favorite part of the story. You see, I was very much so enjoying my alone time. I was finally free to create whatever I wanted and to experiment with ice and snow. So I built an ice palace, and I sang one of my favorite songs. Would you like to sing it with me? All right, I'm gonna play some music. I hope you can hear it. Let's sing together. Can everyone hear okay? You can respond in the chat if you can. The snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. Kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in. Heaven knows I tried. Sing with me. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and stand the dark. And I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. Very good, friends. All right, let's keep going, shall we? All right. So what happened next was Anna found me, and she was begging. She said, Elsa, come home. You have to unthaw Arendelle. But I feared that I couldn't control my powers, and I was angry and afraid again, so I accidentally cast another magic freezing spell on my little sister, and then I created a giant snowman. His name's Marshmallow, and he wasn't going to hurt anybody. I just wanted to scare them off so I could continue singing and building my ice palace. And oh boy, they ran. Olaf ran too. And let me tell you, Olaf is quite funny when he runs. He waddles. But you see, Anna had been hit again. So her hair began to turn white like mine. And Kristoff led her to the trolls to help. And the trolls advised that only an act of true love could thaw a frozen heart. So Anna thought, hey, Cinderella had a true love's kiss, and Snow White had a true love's kiss. Everybody basically had a true love's kiss. That's what I need. I must find Prince Hans. So she ran back to Arendelle on the back of Sven, right to find Prince Hans. But, oh, this part of the story makes me angry. When she found Prince Hans' friends, he absolutely refused to kiss her. Can you believe that? You see, his plan all along had been to take over Arendelle. And Anna was heartbroken. But it was in that moment Then Anna realized that it was actually Kristoff who loved her. It wasn't Hans at all. And she needed all of her strength to find Kristoff. Well, meanwhile, I could sense that something was wrong. So I made my way back to Arendelle to save my kingdom, but I was in terrible danger. And when I arrived, I found Prince Hans, and he raised his sword up, and he was about to hurt me when Anna jumped right in front of me and held her hand up and froze in a solid instant. But the sword came right down upon her hand, and it shattered into a million pieces. But you know what? That was the act of true love. That was true love between two sisters, not a man and a woman. So in that very instant, soon the ice began to melt, and Anna realized that it was Kristoff that she loved as well. And as for me, well, I became queen again, and I'm a very good queen, I promise, because I've learned that love is the secret to controlling my powers. The end. All right, friends, that is the end of my story. I am going to open it up for questions. Does anybody here have any kind of questions that I can answer? We could do it over our chat. Let's see. We have no, I'm not seeing any questions. Maybe it was deactivated. Where is Anna? There she goes. So Anna is actually queen of Arendelle now, if you watched Frozen 2. So I am in the Northuldra, or hanging out for Northuldra, and I have Anna over in Arendelle. Technically, we're all in Arendelle. It's one big kingdom. But Anna is doing her royal duties today. She's doing the same thing I am. We're trying to spread some joy around the kingdom. Hi, Annika. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to listen to the story. Can I answer any other questions before I have to get back to Anna? Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Olaf wanted me to tell everybody hello. Olaf is with Sven and Kristoff this morning, but he wanted to be a part of the library read. Very bad. Olaf loves stories. But, all right, maybe we have a couple of other ones. There we go, I see them now. How is your ice castle? Oh, it's doing good. Thank you for asking. It's, up in the mountains, and in the mountains, the elevation's a little bit higher, so it stays colder. So my ice castle is safe, but it's actually warming up here in Arendelle. I hope it is starting to warm up where you are too. What is your favorite food? Oh, my favorite food is actually popsicles. And I know that's not really a favorite food, but I have a sweet tooth, and I like cold things. So I like to eat snow cones and popsicles, but if I had to pick a really, an edible food, I would probably pick some kind of casserole, because Anna loves to make casseroles. Oh, thank you so much, Brooke. I love you too. I hope everybody had a wonderful time reading the story with me. Thank you for singing along. Remember to do your census, okay? It's very important. But I hope all of you take care. From Arendelle, we all love you so much, okay? Bye-bye.
Thank you, Elsa. This program was made possible in part by a grant from the Rails Library System in cooperation with the Illinois Department of Human Services. Parents, if you should have any questions about the census, please email us at reference@gepl.org. We hope you enjoyed the show. Mark your calendars for the next session, which will be held on Monday, April 20th at 11 a.m. when we meet Ariel.
That's exciting.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.